Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will share a very nice bag recipe with metallic colored paper yarn. First of all, I want to show you the handle detail. We have prepared a beautiful net bag consisting entirely of cage. Look, I want to show you the work closely. It is a colored thread. Let's look at the base of the work. The base is also quite nice. It is neither a fully rectangular nor an oval base. Look at it this way, it will be easier to understand from the inside. Such a beautiful oval structure is formed. Actually, we are preparing a rectangular base, but the form of the base fits so well that I recommend you to use this base, especially on cage bags like this. Look at such a beautiful yarn. The knitting is also very comfortable. You can obtain this rope from the workshop Smiling Bag. In fact, we only made cage knitting, but the handle feels a little heavy in my bag. Look at it this way, it also stands comfortably, so its form is very beautiful. You can also use this as a beach bag, you can also use it as a daily bag. As I said, you can access this rope from the Atoli Gulen bag. I will add the link of the website and the link of the Instagram account in the description section below. You can access it by clicking there. It was a very nice work. It is a beautiful bag that I will use with pleasure. I tried to share it with you in all its details, step by step in the video. I hope it will be a useful content. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. I would be really happy if you could subscribe to our channel for free, like the video, and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I use this colorful metallic yarn from Atelier Gulen bag for my knitting. I want to show you the rope closely. My knitting is a very soft yarn. I used a ball of yarn, and look, my yarn left over from a ball of yarn is this long. The crochet number I used is 3.5 millimeters for this bag. And I will also use ready-made transparent stems. If you want, you can also make handles with your own rope, or you can use different stems. This is entirely up to your taste. I would like to describe our model to you right now. I will use cotton macrame thread when describing the model here. Again, I will be describing our model to you using 3.5 mm crochet hook. It is quite easy to make. We start right away with the chain. After locking our first chain, we start pulling our chains. I didn't count the chains in the beginning. I never bothered with counting the chains. I prepared my chains by pulling them about 5-10 centimeters more until I reached the size I wanted. When the chain was left over, I cut it off and removed it. Now I will describe the model with a small example. Look again, I will be sharing with you the exact numbers I used on the bottom of my bag. Now I will share some of my chains with you. Now, since I am going to describe a small model here, drawing this much chain is enough for me. You can draw as many chains as you want, depending on the size of your bag. Here, the longest side of the bottom of the bag is 37 centimeters wide and 10 centimeters long. Now here I use the reverse part of my chain, not the straight part. I turn it. And I wrap it around the beginning of the hook and leave 1, 2, 3, 4 chains at the beginning and make a loop by sinking into the back cut line of the 5th chain. I have 3 stitches to complete. I wrapped them both together again. By knitting the 2 together, I obtained the first cage here. I'm pulling a chain. I'm stuffing it into my crochet hook. Look again, I come into the same chain and knit the second handrail. Look, there are a couple of cages. Now we will make it 3. I'm pulling a chain again. I wrap it around the head of my hook and come into the same chain and knit another handrail. Now, we started with 1 or 2 or 3 boxes. Now I'm pulling a chain. I wrap it around the head of my hook, leave a chain here, sink into the back cut line of another chain, remove the stitch and knit a double handrail. I'm pulling a chain. I fill up after the banister. I made my double handrail by leaving 1 chain and sinking into the back cut line of another chain. I'm knitting. Now look, we created the corner when we started. Now we will continue with the boxes. We will create our boxes until we reach the size we want. The boxes consist of a chain and a handrail. I create my boxes by leaving a gap and sinking to another point. Now let's continue here. Let's leave a chain and a double handrail on another chain and continue until the end of the row. Let's see how many I made here in total. I started like this. My chains were long, as I said. I drew them in total. Look, I'm not counting those corner 3 boxes. I'm not counting those 3 boxes. I'm not counting the last one either. Count the boxes, that is 27 pieces. Look, there are 3 boxes at the corner turns at the 2 increase endpoints at the 2 ends. By the way, I initially created 27 boxes, then I created the corner, moved to the opposite side, created 27 boxes again and finished. With these 27 boxes, I made an increase of 4 rows by 4 rows. I got my base that is 37 centimeters long. It was 10 centimeters wide. Now let's make the last point. Look, I'm pulling a chain. I left one chain and sank into another chain, so now it's my last chain. I made the last box. Look, now we will create the corner at this point. I'm pulling a chain. I knit a double handrail by wrapping it around the head of my hook and coming into the same chain. I'm filling a chain. We will come back into the same chain and walk around with a short rope. I'm knitting a banister. Now we will create a 2 or 3 now third box in this corner. I place a chain in the same space and knit a banister. Now look, after creating 1, 2, 3 boxes in this corner, we pull a chain. Now we will go to the opposite side and align the boxes opposite each other. Our job is easier from now on. I'm full after a chain. Look now, there was a chain point here and there. We will knit this short rope by hiding it. We immediately sink into the chain at the bottom of the banister. The chains will now appear on our spike-shaped crochet hook. I keep the short yarn on my hook because I want to hide it and knit it. I remove the stitch from this point and knit a double handrail again. I pull a chain and look, I'm jumping to a chain point. Look for the direct handrail. Directly to the next banister, I'm sinking to the bottom. So I'm sinking into the chain spot. The chain also appears on my hook in the shape of a spike. Let's hide the short rope until this stage. I'm filling a chain, double handrail, sinking into the bottom of the handrail. A chain. Look, we are progressing by knitting the boxes opposite each other. A chain that sinks right into the bottom of the banister. We sink the banister here to the bottom and knit our banister. Now look, there's another box here and now our turn is over here. We will pull a chain while finishing and we sink into the 1, 2/3 chain at the beginning. If it is difficult to count the third chain here, we will skip one chain before the banister for you. We sink into the second chain and remove the stitch. Slide the stitch we removed from the other stitch. Look, we complete the row like this. Maybe there are people who want to take a screenshot. Let me show you clearly. Look, now we move to the next row. We draw 1, 2, 3, 4 chains in it, wrapping the stitch around the beginning. Now look here, our increases are 1. There are 2 or 3 boxes. Our increases will be from the first and third of these 3 boxes. Now we pull 4 chains and fill them to the beginning of our crochet hook. We consider the first 3 chains of the 4 chains here as a handrail. We accept the 4th chain as the 1 chain spaces in between. We got around? Look now. We entered directly into our first 1 chain gap, 1 handrail in this gap. Look, this is our increase point. I wrap a chain after the banister, come to the same space and knit another banister and see, I created my box here. So we have created a triangle increase point. I draw a chain and fill it. I do not skip any handrail. My model is always a chain, a handrail, a chain and a handrail. I am pulling a chain that will progress after the handrail. I do not skip the next handrail. Look, I immediately sink the handrail here and knit the double handrail. Look, I have prepared my increase point. Now I draw a chain and knit it. I fill the second box in the middle. That is, I skip a chain, sink into another banister and work box after box. Now I'm filling a chain. We were going to increase in the third box. I sink directly into the box. Look, since I will increase after a chain, I sink into the third box and knit my banister. I pull a chain and fill it. By coming to the same space and knitting the banister again, I take out a box from the box. So I am preparing the increase point with the triangle. I'm filling a chain. I don't jump the banister. I immediately go to the next banister and knit a double handrail. The increase point will be clearly visible. Now, from now on, it will continue box after box. I'm filling a chain. I jump over the gap of a chain and sink into the next railing. 1 chain, double handrail on the top of the next handrail. 1 chain, skipping handrail on handrail. Look, this way we are making boxes on top of boxes. Now let's continue. We build box after box up to the point where the triple box is in the corner, in the form of a chain, a banister. Now look, we have come to the point of 1 or 2 triple banisters. I sink the next handrail point and knit my box. Now the trio has 1, 2 or 3 boxes. I came to the first one. I will immediately make my increase by pulling a chain and taking a box out of a box. Look, you're sinking into this 1 chain wide gap. Railing, a chain, coming to the same space. I took a box out of a box by knitting a banister, a chain. Look, I'm not jumping over the banister. Immediately sink into the banister. By knitting a banister, I obtain 1 or 2 or 3 boxes here. A chain. We knit a box immediately on top of the second box. I skip a chain and knit a banister. A chain. I'm on the third box now. In the third box. See what I did in the first box. I repeat the exact same thing. I increase by removing a box from the box. That is, I create a triangle. I immediately dip into the next handrail point and knit the handrail. Look, there are 1, 2, 3 boxes in the corners, an empty box in between, and another 1, 2, 3 box is formed as an increase point. Look, as I said, you knit this base in this way. Then we obtain a more oval form rather than a rectangular base with sharp-pointed corners. I like this. If you want, instead of preparing such a base, you can directly make boxes and knit the boxes from one side to the other. Its form will be slightly different. It is worth mentioning. Now I pull a chain and sink it to another banister and continue working box after box. A chain. I jump chain by chain from the banister to the banister and proceed by knitting boxes on boxes in the form of a banister until I reach the end of the row. Now look, there is 1 last box left. While I'm knitting the last box, I pull one of my chains, sink into the first or 2 third chains, remove the stitch and slide it. Here I have completed my second row 3. We go to the next row. I will chain 1, 2, 3, 4 and see what I am doing. I will work inside the triangle. Look, I will make increases from the box inside the box. So I'm going to make increases through the point I call the triangle over there. That's why we'll work on the first box that arrives, box after box. After 4 chains, I skip a chain, sink to the top of the handrail and knit a double handrail. I will make my increase by pulling a chain and now subtracting a triangle from within the triangle. Look, I'm knitting a handrail chain into a 1 chain space and a chain into the same space again. Look at the handrail. The knitting does not change at all. The handrail is a chain. The handrail progresses in the form of a chain. Now it is a chain again. Look, I do not jump on the foot of the handrail. I immediately sink to the top and knit a double handrail, a chain again, on the points in between. That is, we will continue by knitting boxes on boxes until we see the second triangle. Now the increase here is now. We made our increase. Look, we subtracted a triangle from the triangle and got 1 or 2 or 3 boxes this way. Now I skip a chain and proceed like this until I see a chain of handrails to another handrail, a handrail to another handrail, and a triangle of handrails. Look, I've come to the first handrail leg of the triangle. Now I need to work inside the triangle. A chain, a handrail inside the triangle, a chain again by knitting a handrail from the same blank. I get a triangle inside the triangle, then a chain. I knit a handrail on this leg of the triangle to get my box. A chain. Then we continue with the box on the box. We continue in this way by skipping a chain and knitting a handrail on the handrail. Let me show you this part clearly. Straight seam. Look, the increases are always like this. There may be those who want to take a screenshot. There is a very easy increase point. By removing triangles from the triangles, we make our boxes increase on both sides in this way. Then we will continue box after box. Let's repeat the process we did here and come to the end of the row. Let's complete this in the third row. I knitted the fourth row on this base by increasing 4 rows. After 4 rows, we continued by knitting boxes on boxes. Now let's complete this row. We have come to the end of our row. I am pulling a chain. There is now a last chain point here and there are 4 chains that meet us. 1, 2. We slide into the third chain to our new row. I complete the fourth increase by pulling 4 chains and repeating the same operations as I did in the last third row. I knitted this bag by increasing 4 rows, so I increased and knitted 1 more row. We said that the short side I obtained measured 10 centimeters and the length was 37 centimeters. Now let's assume that we knit 4 rows. Look, it is not a perfectly rectangular base, nor is it an oval base. In this way, we obtain a beautiful form right between the two. Now we will go up with 4 chains. After this, we will raise the wall of our bag. After increasing 4 rows, the only thing we do is work on box after box. We are coming, look. We skip a chain and knit a banister over the banister. Pull a chain, jump a chain and handrail after banister. Jump a chain, and banister after banister. Look. At the increase point, we are again working on box after box. There is no different process. We will climb the wall this way. A chain, a banister, a chain, a banister, a chain. We are just working on the banister box. Look, I am passing the triangle point in the same way. Since the triangle is also a box, look at this point, the bag is already in a hole. We will proceed as a chain banister and a chain banister. Look, by proceeding in this way, we will reach the end of the row. The end and beginning of the row are always like this, with 4 chains. Now let's show the end of our row. Let's share with you how many rows I have built the wall and the measurement in centimeters. Look, we have come to the end of our row. We pull one of our chains, sink into the 1 2/3 chain at the beginning and slide it. And as we go up with 4 chains and work on boxes, making 18 rows. I continued knitting as follows. The length of the bag was 27 centimeters. 27 centimeters was enough for me, but if you want it deeper, you can increase the size of your bag and the number of rows. As I said, you can draw the number of initial chains more and make the number of boxes as you want, and prepare the bag in the sizes you want, bigger or smaller. You can do it now. I knitted a row of single crochets in the last small part of our bag. While knitting the single crochets, look, we worked with a single crochet in the space of a chain and a single crochet in the handrail point. I went up with a chain right here. Look, I am finishing the row. Now I am coming directly to the space of a chain. Single needle at this point, I held my hand a little tight so that the small part does not spread too much. Then, after knitting a single needle in the space of 1 chain, after coming to the tabs on top space, removing the loop, single needle in the space of 1 chain, single needle on the trabzan, look at the space of 1 chain, knitting single needles directly, holding my hand tight for a bit. Mouth. I have made a row of single crochet in this section. Look, I want to show it like this. I finished it like this, then at the end of the row, I will show you the finish right here, but first I want to talk about ironing. Now, after knitting and finishing the base, I iron the sole first because it will be difficult to iron the sole after knitting the wall, which will spoil the form of the bag. We always finish the sole while ironing. After the base increasing row is completed, you can iron this rope in reverse with a steam iron. I didn't have any problems. I ironed it well with a steam iron, pressing it with a strong iron. Then I finished the wall part. After knitting the wall part and crocheting the mouth part, Gazelles ironed the inner part with a steam iron again, and see, it got this form. Look at the structure, it's a standing bag. In terms of the texture of the yarn, I tried a mesh weave, but look at it like a pattern. There is no need for lining, etc. I especially like such mesh bags without a strap. But you can also prime it if you want. But even without lining, it remains in a very upright form. Now let's move on to placing our stems. First, I will do the finishing part of this bag. After knitting 1 last single crochet, look, after knitting single crochet in this 1 chain space, I stretched the stitch a little bit. I cut my rope a little longer. Then I passed the rope through the first chained point I knitted over the top of the first single crochet and first pass it from the outside to the inside. Then I will hide the thread inside by dipping into the back cut line and the outer wing of the single crochet. Look at this point. When we take it inside and do it like this, the whole point looks like a spike. Let's hide the short rope quickly. Look, we have hidden our rope. Now after hiding it, we will move on to placing our handle. I'm getting my rope again. I used a transparent handle like this here. It's a plastic handle. I want to show it closely. I bought these a long time ago. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but you can easily find similar handles on the internet. Now I will immediately create a loop with a chain like this and knit single needles on my stem here. I'm making a loop directly. I'm putting this short thread in between. Look, after creating the loop, I'm sinking into the handle and making a loop. I'm starting with a single crochet. Taking the short thread in, I'm sinking into my stem again and knitting single crochets in it. See here? How many will I knit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I look at it like this. I will add the number of single needles that I will place the structure in. Knitting 10, 11 and 12 needles is enough for me. After knitting 12 single needles, after this single needle, I draw a chain at this point, and since I will be sewing my rope, I will sew it with etamine, so I will leave it a little longer here. Look directly, I left the rope long in the chain. I take it out. I knitted 12 single needles in this way. Now we'll move on to placing this. Now I prepare the other one in the same way. Look, I prepared the other stem here in the same way. I prepared the points where I will stitch with 12 single needles. I will use a skirt needle like this. I'm getting my rope right away. I thread my needle. After putting it on, see that the straight single needles will remain outside. I will combine it like this. I am adjusting the connection point. I make sure it's right in the middle of the bag. Look, I'll place it like this. I sink into my handle directly before this point. At the last single crochet point we knitted and in the appropriate space where I will insert the single crochet we knitted in the last row in the row. Here's the corresponding point. By bringing the points opposite each other with a single needle, I pass my thread through this point, again with the help of it. I start from here. Now to join it, I insert a single needle into the bag. I insert a single needle into the point where the bag is, and I insert into our handle. Look, again with the help of it. First into the bag, then to our handle, mutual by sinking. Look, I sew at both points in the same way and by stabbing a handle, a bag, a handle, and a bag with the help of the etamine needle. In this way we can mount the handle to our bag. If you know different, easier methods, you can do it that way too, whichever is easier for you. Now look, here we will place our handles opposite each other by stitching with the help of the etamine needle, directly from the points where these single needles are located. We will now have finished our bag by applying the same process to the other handle on the opposite side. We finished by placing our handle in our bag. Our recipe was like this. I hope you like it and try it too. I wish good luck to those who will do it. Don't forget to like our video, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye until we see you in the next video.